Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Richard Manfredi. I'm the Township Manager. It's my privilege to be at this event. Ms. Ham, who is the Community Development Director, working with HUD and doing so much to make sure that we are in the communities, investing in the communities, and doing what we need to do to make those communities better, believes this celebration, and it is a celebration of sorts, even though it's a community event, and it's very important that we understand and recognize what went into this and the hard work that went into it. And my role today is really, again, just to have the privilege of introducing everyone, put the work in to make this happen, the improvements at Rubicam happen. Kimberly Ham, Community Development Director, as I said, works directly with HUD to make all of this happen. Elizabeth Fitzgerald, who is not only the Executive Director working through McLink, but very proud to say the Director of Library Services for Abington Township, and who has also taken on a role because of her tremendous work with outreach and public events as of July 1, Special Assistant to the Township Manager for Public Affairs. So you'll be seeing a lot more of Liz at events like that she and Liz and Jessica Foley, who is the Director of Parks and Recreation, throughout the park system, where we're going to be celebrating a lot of these types of improvements to the park system. And I have to say the Board of Commissioners leadership, Mr. Tom Hecker, Mr. Matt Beatty, Vice President, Mr. Hecker, President, with a focus on recreation. So the park systems in Abington will be growing. There'll be a lot of investment in the park systems. There's their leadership, along with every member of the Board of Commissioners, in making these types of things happen and supporting the administration and the different departments for what they do. With that, I have the privilege, and again I keep saying privilege, but it's intentional. There's a gentleman with us here today that has served Abington Township and this area, this ward of Rubicam Park in Crestmont for so many years. It truly is my pleasure to introduce former Commissioner and boots on the ground every day, Mr. Gregory.
Thank you, Richard, and it's a great pleasure to be here representing Ward 5 Commissioner Ayanna Laney Martin. She had a last-minute urgent business conflict this morning, and I'm going to try and fill in for her with some very brief remarks. A few months after taking office, Commissioner Laney Martin had a neighborhood gathering in this very park to talk about some of the things that she was working on or looking forward to happening within Ward 5. At the top of that list was improvements to Rubicam Avenue Park. So it is a great pleasure to be here to see it happening, so to speak. For those who are not familiar with Rubicam Avenue Park, it is one of the township's neighborhood pocket parks with open space, a basketball court, playground equipment, and even a walking trail. Approximately $77,000 of CDBG funds, boy, try and say that 3 or 4 times in a row, were invested into the revitalization of the basketball court and playground equipment this year. These improvements allow children and adults to enjoy updated amenities in the park with friends and family of many abilities and interests. Though it is one of the township's smaller parks, Rubicam Park is highly used by neighborhood residents for various recreation activities. As we all know, green space is disappearing, but in a neighborhood that is very densely populated, this is a welcome area for them to come to and to be able to enjoy the sun, the air, the greenery. I know that Commissioner Laney Martin is looking forward to continuing the kinds of efforts that bring this about. I know she would want to acknowledge the assistance of all those who are gathered here today because without this assistance, these kinds of things just don't happen. And so on behalf of her, I'm going to offer a big thank you for your help and everything that you did to make this happen, and hopefully we'll continue with those efforts going forward in the future. I want to thank you for this opportunity to represent her, and also to thank Abington Township. I'm a lifelong resident of Abington Township, been here my whole life, almost 78 years. I can recall when this was nothing, there were just some substandard housing right on the corner, and ultimately they were torn down and this park was created. And we appreciate it and we thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Holt. Again, it's my privilege to introduce the next speaker, the former Township Commissioner, current State Representative, Ben Sanchez.
Thank you very much, Rich, and honored to be here today. And as you know, introduce me as the former commissioner. I like to still think of myself as the 16th commissioner for Abington Township, and while I don't quite have the tenure of Mr. Holt in his, was it 78?
78.
It doesn't seem like it.
It doesn't seem like it.
I too am a lifelong resident. My 49 years here in Abington, and it's always just such a pleasure to visit one of the parks. I know this was referred to as a pocket park, which is a great term. It's kind of sandwiched between our residential areas, but so critically important to give neighbors a place to come, to gather, to play, give our children a place to play. And these improvements are really stellar. If you got to see the basketball court, truly amazing. The new playground equipment, which I know was in much need of an upgrade. So hopefully some of that is getting filmed so we can show the public, but hopefully they'll come and visit too. So I really just want to thank everyone, and I'll start with the Board of Commissioners. What a great group, and I just applaud them for embracing all the many themes we have been for the years, which are recreation and getting community investment and community partnership, and the furtherance, obviously, in embracing that by the Ward Commissioner, Ayanna Laney Martin, is amazing, and hopefully Dr. Commissioner Laney Martin knows that I'm willing to partner with her anytime for state funding type stuff, and I know Representative Nancy Genst is as well, my good friend and colleague who represents this particular area, who couldn't be here today. So, and I want to thank too the staff, everybody that was mentioned before. I won't go through it all again, but under the tutelage of Mr. Manfredi, who will be retiring at the end of this year, but has put in place so many great things that will carry us forward into the future. And hopefully none of his beloved staff are going anywhere, so we get great continuity with that. And Cam, I'll call you out specifically for all your hard work with CDBG grants, because I know you've been, this isn't the only one. I know we have another ribbon cutting for later, and there's so many that go unseen by everyone in the township. So thank you, and congratulations, everybody. What a fine day for Abington. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Sanchez. There are two more people that are to be introduced and to speak. One who did not want to speak, Ms. Ham, who is the Director of Community Development. The work that she has done, and it is so unseen by so many eyes, to know what she has done with that program, to take it where it is today, and with great confidence where she will take it into the future. Before I bring her up to say a few words, which is not an easy thing to do with Kim, because she always wants to be behind the scenes and not out front. And before we conclude with going forward in the future with Ms. Fitzgerald, I do want to recognize in a greater way Ms. Thole, who took on the role of Director of Parks and Recreation recently and has done an incredible job, and working as a team member with Ashley McElvain, who is the Assistant Township Manager, Grace Sekaluski, who's our Communications Manager, Terry Castorina, who's Assistant to the Manager, and as Ben has mentioned, there are so many people, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Public Works, who not only were out all last night dealing with a storm that blew through here and caused more than 3,000 homes to be without power, to make sure that this park was what it should be for an event like today. So, and that was under the direction of Mr. Mike Jones. So with that, Kim, if you wouldn't mind saying a few words.
Good morning. So the one thing that no one's brought up in its totality is what CDBG actually stands for. It's a program administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and its long name is Community Development Block Grant. So Abington is a proud recipient each year of funding from the federal government in order to make such impactful improvements such as this. As Mr. Manfredi mentioned, and Representative Sanchez as well, we're continuing to invest in different areas of the township through our parks, but also through other areas. Just off camera here to my right, we are having a library pop-up, and part of that is a CDBG-funded lunch program, so that we're bringing free lunch to the children of Abington Township in their neighborhoods each week. Because a lot of kids don't have access to free lunch like they do during the school year, during our summer months, so that's a big part of it. I do not like to be recognized publicly, but that's mostly because I genuinely feel, as Rich has said many, many times, it's my privilege to be working here in Abington and bettering our community as a resident of Abington, and being able to provide play spaces for the kids that we have here. So thank you to everyone for being here, for supporting these projects, and for supporting our team as we bring these projects to fruition. And especially, thank you to HUD for providing the funding that we're able to have so that we can celebrate the installation of new playground equipment in our township during what I found out is actually National Parks and Recreation Month. So it's really fun. We didn't plan that, but it's a really good way to just further reinforce the good work that we're doing here. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Ms. Ham. So the final speaker is Ms. Fitzgerald. I could spend the next 10 minutes talking about what Liz has contributed to the community and the various initiatives that she has brought forward as library director, and her penchant for communications and public affairs matters, which is why she is embarking on an additional role, not a solo role, an additional role of public affairs. So we will close out with a face you're going to be seeing more and more of, especially as we generate additional content for our website and our own TV channel. Elizabeth Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Rich. And thank you to everyone for being here today. I came to this park recently just to look around, and it was really beautiful to see. There were people playing on the basketball courts, there were families on the playgrounds, and people walking along the pathways here. And it was just so great to see the investment that the community, that Abington Township has put into the parks, into the playgrounds, to see it being used. The parks that we have here, over 20 in Abington Township, are one of the best things that I think that this township has to offer, that and the libraries. And the community development block grants have been an important way for the township to improve, to renew, to revitalize the public spaces that we have. And the $77,000 that has gone into Rubicam Park, into making it this beautiful space, has been worth every penny. So I want to thank everyone who has been working to ensure that we have these beautiful spaces here in the township. And one of the great things that that having a space like this provides is an opportunity for collaboration. And as you mentioned, we are, over the course of the summer, partnering with community development, with Parks and Rec, to bring the library out into the community, out into the neighborhood. And so we have our library pop-ups in the park where right now you can do some crafts. Have fun, and we have a lot of families that are over playing Connect 4 and on the playground equipment, and it's been such a wonderful experience to really collaborate and work together to bring these great things out into the neighborhoods outside of the four walls of the library. So thank you everyone for your work on making this space as beautiful as it is. And I look forward to seeing the other parks over the course of the summer, and I hope that everyone will be able to join us. So thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this at home or online, wherever you might be. And please feel free to reach out to the wonderful team that we have, especially to Representative Sanchez and behind the scenes Morgan from his office, who you can't see, who keeps that office running. But please feel free. And as we close, I just have to say one more time, Mr. Holt, a privilege.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here, representing Commissioner Laney Martin. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Please enjoy the Abington Township Park System.